Welcome, YouTube. Hello. Good evening on this Wednesday. It's 8:30. How is everyone doing? We have myself, Scott. We have Patrick from North Louisiana, and Sci-Fi is also here. How are y'all doing today? Are y'all doing okay, guys?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, welcome. That's right. Many of you might not recognize me. I've somewhat shaved my head somewhat. My aunt is stage 4 liver cancer now. Went from the colon to the liver. She's not doing well. We don't know if she'll make it past September. So my mom is still thinking about whether she's going to do hers. I fully could not do all the way down to my skin, so I just left it like this. So if y'all like, say a prayer for my Aunt Pauline. She's not doing well. And everybody's upset, of course. Besides that, we are back from the big North Louisiana Bigfoot Research Mission #1. First of all, before we get started, I'd like to say, if y'all wait towards the end, we're going to have a question for you guys to answer that might help us on a decision that I'm really trying to make. It might be kind of fun. So let's see who is in the house here real quick, so we give a few people to get in. It's only been 2 minutes. We got Mr. Clay Campbell. Hello. How are you doing there tonight, Squatching Strategies? He is going to be going on the trip with Terry Arnold in the spring. You better get ready, my friend. You better get ready. Who else? We got Andy gone fishing. Andy, this is Bigfoot Explorer. It's Scott, not Terry. That's quite okay, my friend. We have, oh, look, Fletch Explores. It's not Terry, it's Scott. Kerry's channel is Bigfoot Odyssey, and Scott is Bigfoot Explorer. Thanks for coming in, though. Hello, Cryptid559. And there he is, the man himself. It's Bigfoot Odyssey. Hello. Hi, Kerry. How you doing? Thanks for jumping in here. Brown Dwarf's in here. There's Mr. Gordo Cooper.
Gordo.
I call him Gordo Cooper.
You got that from me.
Well, it's a line from a movie too. Gordo Cooper. Forget which movie it was.
Oh, look who's in the house.
Who do we have in here?
Bigfoot Michigan Rob.
Where is Bigfoot Michigan?
He's on the Robert D. What's up, Robert? We got Fifth Hazel. We got Cryptid.
Yeah.
Bill. That's somebody new.
5 Hazel.
Yeah, look at Cryptid.
Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Robert D. Hello. How are you guys doing? It's Ruger Ridge. And, of course, Mr. Barry Browning. Y'all hang in there, and towards the end of the show, we're going to ask y'all a question to help us make a decision. And, of course, I'll be putting up some banners. If you've had a Bigfoot encounter and like to be possibly featured on the show, go to BigfootExplorer.com, follow the links, and take the survey. I do check those surveys a good bit. Okay, so I'm going to put the title up here. It's we are going to be talking about the trip as a whole, the North Louisiana Research Mission #1. It's kind of just happened on a whim. We went on Labor Day weekend, had a 3-day weekend, jumped in the car, and just kind of headed up to North Louisiana like on a whim, and decided to do it. Few things with just getting started with it, because there's no real good place to get started with it. We're just going to jump in and just get dirty, right? many of you know, if you've been watching the channel, Patrick's got a really good theory that he's put to test for the past 10 years, and that is his single knock theory, meaning that single knock theory is a communication knock to get a response from Sasquatch. He's had it work. He's done it a lot, to the point where they were sick of doing it. And I say they because he has a tracking partner who has witnessed this. And generally that single knock theory is to make one knock and do a series of 60 to 120 seconds and hope for a knock response back. And if you do, then you keep the single knock going. You don't do any multiples yet. So what we were really hoping to do, the mission was to go and corroborate the single knock theory, get it at least on audio and video possibly. But as we found out, we weren't able to do it. We weren't able to knock ourselves and then have them knock, and then we knock, and then they knock and start to get closer. That didn't happen. But what did happen was very unexpected. And luckily I witnessed it. If any of y'all have not seen the video yet, the video is up on Bigfoot Explorer, called the North Louisiana Research Mission #1. Go check that out. That's what we're talking about if you haven't seen it yet. But Patrick, why don't you give them a little rundown on what did happen at Area 2 that was unexpected that morning on the stakeout?
Well, we've been tracking and trying to narrow the area down where they're at. This group, which is Big Sam, Sasha, Little Sam, and some other expected smaller tracks that I'm not ready to confirm yet, but we track them down to, we find the freshest tracks we can, which is about 4 days old. And we get set up on a stakeout just across, watching this creek crossing for 3 hours. And we're hoping we'll catch, some kind of activity, encounter. This is the freshest place, and it's been a knock for weekend. The heat was oppressive. It just was not a productive weekend as far as knocks go, as far as getting interactive knocks. So we set up on this creek, on this crossing, watching. We sat there 3 hours, and the bugs were unreal. And we hear some, Scott says, I hear some little knocks back there on the creek. And I heard it too. And then I heard something walking in the leaves and the brush on the other side of the creek. Well, then, so I get up and I go to Scott. I said, hey, why don't we check this creek crossing? Because we hadn't checked it that morning, see if there's any fresh tracks on it. And then we'll, pick our way down this creek looking for sign and tracks. So we get up, we check the creek crossing. There's been no more new tracks going across it. And we start walking, and we're looking for a sign or anything different that's changed from the day before. And Scott picks up on what appeared to be an impression, and we're checking it out and looking at it. And I remember saying, I'm not sure what that is. And then you hear, initially, Scott says, hey, did you hear that? And we heard, what we thought we heard was 4 knocks and a 3 knock. It really took listening to the audio to get the full message that was communicated to us, which was a 3 knock, which is actually a little further back there in distance, but just as powerful. And then the 6 knock, powerful up front in your face, and then another 3 knock. Had I known that was a 3 knock, 6 knock, 3 knock, we'd have evacuated that area immediately. But we heard a 4 and a 3, and I know a 3 means warning, get out of this area, but I wasn't ready to. This is my group, And yes, there was a shooting that happened, this past fall. And I was trying to find a way to, interact and get back to where I can have interactions with them. And so I was concerned about that. And I said, I'm not ready to get out of here. So we had a 4-knock and 3-knock. It was actually 3.6. We go up and we're checking the sticks we found leaned up in the creek. And I noticed this isn't just leaned here. This is an X structure and 2 small sticks beside it. And I've never put any stock in X structures. I think I said that on video too.
Right.
But this is the first X structure I've ever seen. And now, I believe X structure means this is a boundary. Don't come any further up this trail. I do believe that now.
Right.
But, and then we just kind of meandered around and got out of that area. So and
yeah.
looking back on it and listening to the audio, Scott, I'm surprised we didn't. Now, if you paid attention when we were at the X and I was talking, there was a big stick break up that hill, like something stepped on it.
You see, that's what I need to do with you. We need to watch that video again, because I've listened to it. I've watched it three times, 3.5 times, but I do not remember being by the hog wall by the sticks and hearing another break. But you did hear that?
Yeah, I even paused and stopped talking for a second because we're by the X structure. We just got knocked at maybe 5 minutes before this.
Yeah.
We walked down to the X structure. We're discussing this X structure, and I was talking about Sam's trail, and I'm pointing where I was set up at, and I said I'm set up here, and there was a bow. It sounded like a stick break, and it was heavy, and I stopped talking for a second. Sticks don't break just on their own.
Yeah.
So, and now knowing that was a 3-knock, a 6-knock, a 3-knock, I'm surprised we didn't have a bad encounter happen with Big Sam. I can't believe that. We were very fortunate that he didn't do anything to us when we were down there.
Well, really and truly, we didn't stay that long. We were out of there pretty quick. We walked over there, we said a few things, and then we left.
Well, I mean, he was around when I'm knocking at Sasha. He's been around, like I said, the night that my tracker partner and I turned on the lights and pushed him out of the tracks.
Yeah,
that's the first time I found Big Sam. That's the only reason I knew he was there, because I found that big track.
So the spot where you and your tracker pushed them back at night, where the water flooded back the prints, that was that area too?
No, that was we did a knock at that area.
Yeah,
at that improved area behind all the gravel and the gravel hill. Yeah, that was where that was. Remember, I took you back there and showed you right here is where we did it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but Big Sam has never had anything to say to me. It's always been Sasha and Little Sam.
Well, those knocks, if you guys haven't heard that 6-knock, it was loud enough to where the spectral wave in the audio software, you could actually see it in the spectral graph. Each 6 of those knocks, it was loud.
Well, that's the first knock.
Powerful.
Yeah, that's the first knocks Big Sam has ever given to me.
And and we also showed that just to the north and the east of there is all private hunting land. There are no houses back there. There are no sheds. There's no deer stands that we can see of. Even if it was a metal deer stand underneath the canopy, it's not going to make this sound. I think most people, regardless if you are an active researcher or even if you're an armchair researcher, the sound of a very solid stick on a solid piece of tree makes a distinct sound, as opposed to maybe banging or using a hammer. You know, Patrick and I, you know, we got to the truck and we were sitting there just pondering over it, and we're going like, okay, there was a 6 and then there was a 3. Now, what do humans do in the woods 350 yards back there where there's no trails, there's no houses, there's no sheds? But what could they be doing that only makes 9 to 10 knocks, and they all sound like you're beating mature oak to death?
Well, also you have 16-inch tracks going across that creek.
Yeah.
Going into that area.
Yeah. We didn't say that. The place that he always goes to check in Area 2, that spot where they cross, there was another new track like headed towards us with like a heel print, and then there was another one. I should have had these photos ready to show, but
I might be able to message them to you.
If you can do it fast enough, then we'll show it. The best thing to do is to do it on Messenger, because I have that open. If you want. Sci-Fi, you got any questions so far?
Not yet. I will be. I'm just listening.
All right, cool. YouTube, we're Patrick's going to try to send a few photos over so we can discuss. It should be relatively painless and easy. Most of mine are on the phone. I should have got set up and had them all ready on the desktop or the laptop, but I did not have them ready. My kiddos are here tonight. They're usually at grandma's on Wednesdays, so I had a few things to take care of. But I'm actually glad they're here. I mean, it's nice to have them.
Not that photo I just sent. Hold on.
Yeah, I got one.
Not that one.
Not that one?
Not that one.
Okay.
I think maybe this one.
Yeah, Huh?
Yes, the second one I sent. The second one I sent.
All right, there it is. Now I won't be able to zoom in well. So let's do this. Let's get this going real quick. Let's do share screen and Chrome tab.
Can I answer this question from JJ?
Yeah, go, buddy.
Hey JJ, when they come in closer than 40 yards, they'll swap from an implement to the palm of their hand, and you'll be able to tell the knock will sound like a cupping action.
Yeah.
You want me to blow that up to you?
No, I'm gonna get it right now. Let me do this. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm download desktop.
Yeah, I've had them stomp the ground and make a loud thumping sound, and I've had them use their hand on the side of a tree, and it's a cupping slap sound, and you can actually hear some of the bark fall off in the dark when they do it. It's a little eerie.
All right, let's see if I can get this window actually going here. Let's see.
Ruger Ridge. I think that's going to be decided later in the show. This is the first time I've been able to see the chat. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, it's about StreamYard just implemented showing the chat to the guests that we have in. Now, the thing that they need to do is actually have it where the guests can actually answer and type into the chat as well, which they don't have that in there yet. I'm sure it's coming. I hope it's coming.
Hi, cat. I guess that's a smiley face.
All right, let's try this one more time. Here it is. We're going to share.
Can I answer this from Robert D?
Yeah, yeah.
Robert D, we got video of what appeared to be a big pile of mud. You can look at the indentions in it and maybe tell if it's a fingerprint or not. You know, let the evidence speak to you. My personal opinion, probably, but it's in the video.
This is the image. This is the creek crossing Patrick. I'm gonna go ahead. Can y'all see my mouse on there or no? Wait. Can you see that now?
Yeah.
Can you see my mouse?
Yeah, I can see your mouth.
Okay, go ahead and talk about
this
one. Go ahead and talk about this one.
All right, that's a heel facing upwards, and the toes are down into the water. Now that one, there's a fresher one above it. You can see above it, you can see a heel going down and the toes going up. I don't have, yeah. And there's an older set of tracks to the left where they crossed previously. Both toes are facing uphill there, and you can see where a smaller one sidestepped, where the mud is pushed down at the toe of the one on the left. There's kind of a hole there. Looks like a younger one sidestepped getting up that bank.
So yeah, it's very strange because what Patrick and I have noticed, if you walk this creek down this way, what, maybe 30, 40 yards, there's like a big root, massive root, where we could easily step on that root and cross.
Well, there's also a culvert
here.
There's also a culvert 25 yards downstream.
Yes.
You know, man would be crossing at the culvert, at the little dim road we walked in on.
Yeah.
If we cut off to go through the pines and down to this crossing, but if you kept on it, there's a culvert there. You could just step right over it.
Yeah. Hey, did you take a picture of those sticks?
Yes.
Wait, I might be able to send it too. Let me see. Yes, it's the Bigfoot Explorer Amateur Hour. That's correct, fans.
Bama Bigfoot, when they're hitting with their hand, it's a location. They're saying, "I'm here." Now, depending on if you said you're being surrounded, if you were being intrusive, then it could be an intimidation thing that they're doing to you. Now, if you're in an improved area, most of the time they'll come up with curiosity instead of being intimidating, and the hand hitting will just be like a knock saying, "I'm here, I'm looking."
Desktop.
And the video in the in the creek bottom where they're at, it's hard to get right up on the track and get a great shot at them. But in the video, we have a couple of tracks where you can actually get right on it with the camera and pick out each little toe and the heel and all that.
Let's see. So let's share this again. Application window, share. Okay, this area right here in the creek is just, how far down is this? Like 50 yards down?
About 60.
About 50, 60 yards down from the creek that we just sent you, showed you. This was laying there. These two sticks were like this, and these sticks were sticking straight up. No other sticks around. This right here, I don't even know. This is possible this was a hog wallow or a place where hogs crossed, or even Sasquatch crossed. In the video, this log right here, you can see it is just doused with mud where something's crossing it. What's your thoughts on that, Patrick?
The crazy thing is I was there just in July, where my son and I got hollered at by Little Sam.
Right.
We crossed right here and went up that embankment, went up to the top of the ridge, and walked back about 60 yards, just tracking. And that cross wasn't there, that X structure wasn't there.
He wasn't there, huh?
And that log that's leaning against that tree was all the way up, about another 15 feet, 12 to 15 feet up against the hill. It wasn't where it's at now.
So it's almost like they put it there to slow the pigs down in order to get to them easier.
Yeah, they could put it there to slow them down.
Yeah, that's a theory. It's just a theory, but we know that they eat hog, and this place is ripped up. If you watch disking up the ground.
Will Clapp. Go ahead. Will Clapp. This is the first year I've come across an X structure.
Yeah.
It's the first year I've come across trees broken over trails. To me, it's almost like they're evolving as a group, is what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my perception of it.
Do you think they're building in those structures as the X to stay away?
Well, considering we got a 3-knock, a 6-knock, and a 3-knock. Now, let me say this. I'm gonna tell you in English what that means. Warning, danger, get out of this area.
Yeah.
6-knock. 6-knock is an ultimatum or an explanation of why we cannot be in that area, followed by another warning, danger, get out of this area.
Yeah. That's
what it was in English that came up from off the top of that ridge line. And it was right behind that X.
Yeah.
Well,
so
go ahead.
I would say that it's a high probability that the X and the Knox they're connected. So an X, to me, I'm not going around an X again. I'm not doing it. I've never seen one. First trip around one, I got one of the nastiest get out of town letters I've ever had that come in knock form. I mean, and I wish I'd have had the full story then. I didn't until I listened to the audio, and then I had chills.
Well, when me and Scott went on that first mission that we ever did, and we found the X that we seen, and Scott went to go touch the stick that was sticking in front of the X on an angle, and I told him not to touch it, and he did, and that's when he heard the wow.
Yeah.
So here is part of that
right here. That's not a track.
Gets me too. Is it playing? Yeah.
It's playing.
So this is something very unusual that we came across. Somebody told me, Patrick, that I think Colorado Forest Beans, it's another Bigfoot channel. They have seen and witnessed this too. This is an area where there's nothing but leaf litter, like right in here. Right in here. It's leaf litter everywhere, and there's no hole anywhere.
I wish you could get to
where we can see where this mud was excavated from.
I wish you could get to where you could see the little imprints.
Well, it's coming. It's coming. That's why I kind of.
That was at the very beginning.
Huh?
I think we already passed that.
I don't know. Wait. Let's see. We might have already passed it. Yeah. So let's go back a little bit.
I'm not sure, Robert D. That's kind of, if I get back that area, I may, and I will, but when I get back the area, we may dig that up.
Here it is. I think you're wanting to see that spot where the camera zooms in on it?
Yes.
It's coming, I think. Well, what's strange here is what I'm saying. This was like hard crusted, and then this was loose. Like this was all like had been wet from the dew and compacted, and then this was loose still, like it was combed through. But I wish we could have found a hole, but we never found any type of hole either. Let's see.
I wonder if they was taking their hands and pulling up the dirt and moving it around like that.
There's a spot in there that looks like, to me, it looked like finger impressions. It just did. I think we keep passing it up, though.
You think I passed it up again?
Yeah, you're going to have to back up a bit.
Well,
you go in, zoom in, and then you come back out and you start showing the whole thing.
Yeah, but right here, we haven't even made it there yet, right? It is.
Yeah, start there. Start there.
I'm doing good.
No, we passed. It's for, I don't know. Let's just watch and see.
There's got to be a part where I come back to it, right? No. I don't know. We keep passing it off. Anyway, we'll keep that. We'll keep this kind of going. We want to talk about this next little part because I think this is the part where not this one, but this one. Oh, what did I do? Damn it! I had it right where I wanted it, and I messed it up.
I've seen a lot of hog wallows, and that mud was piled up and compacted almost, to me, on purpose. It wasn't just something that was dug up.
So this is one of the tracks. I think that's pretty substantial. It's coming up. This is armadillo. I'm talking about armadillo. Where's that one track at? No, that's not. That's not the one that I wanted. It's the one before this. There it is, right there.
Yep.
That's it. Right there. This is unbelievable to me. Other than this piece of leaf litter right here, you could see. Now I can't zoom into this because this is on YouTube. It's on the video. I can't zoom in, but you could see the toe. You could see the toe right in here, the big toe, and then the little toes, and then perfect heel right back here that went up along here. And wasn't this the one that you said was kind of little?
Yeah, that one's kind of little. I found Sam's track, and I also found a little bit smaller track. And so
this the one that we said was the 6-inch?
I believe so.
Yeah.
If you look at my boot, it's a pretty small track.
Yeah.
I mean, Sam's track is, 10 and a half inches. Well, that's not Sam's track. Now there's another significant track that's up on the road on the way out after we got shadowed.
And that's a perfect thing. Man wouldn't go barefoot. This place that he brought me, okay, man can get in there. But guess what? We are off any trail. We are way away from the trails, off the beaten path, way back in there, right next to a drainage. I would not understand how any human would be barefooted back there.
Well, much less having multiple sizes, multiple sets, and a travel way and a clear beat down path that is barefooted.
Right.
That's so someone living in the area.
Yeah. Here's a question from Mid-South. Did y'all try digging into it to see if something was covered? No. I personally didn't want to fool with it. I don't know why. I just didn't want to fool with it.
Yeah, I didn't want to disturb it.
Yeah, I didn't want to disturb it either. We came up with some theories, like, the hole, or it could have been a kind of like a dish where they scooped up and then put it on top of where they dug. But for what reason? Maybe they were looking for grubs. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine, but it was very odd. Let's see.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
My sister's in here, Kim.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Hi, Kim. Good to have you in.
My second sister. Kim, it's in North Louisiana.
And Luke, what he said. He says food stash. Like they buried a food stash, kind of like cats do, like bobcats do, or a mountain lion will bury their kill.
I didn't smell anything on it.
Yeah,
I had my nose right on it.
I think we would have smelled that too.
What about? Could have been maybe they could have like scented something and covered it. Like how men have like.
Yeah, I thought maybe they could have wallowed out kind of like an impression, and then laid in a fetal position to sleep there because it's cool, and then when they leave, put the dirt back over it. But the hole's too small.
What about
Watch is huge.
What about if it was a Bigfoot latrine and they dug a hole, used it?
I think everywhere is a latrine.
That's a pretty big hole, for that.
Yeah, but it could be
tell you what, if that's the size of his buttocks, my friend, for a latrine, that's a big dude.
Just wondering.
Yeah.
Well, could it be a scent trail? Like when the male marks something. And he can cover it and say, hey, this is my territory. Don't come here.
Very possible.
Well, beavers do that.
Yeah.
So I think you answered this, Patrick, but go ahead and answer this again, just so it's on record here from Louisiana Prepper. Are the 3 and 6 knocks to warn you or other Bigfoot?
Okay. The 6 knock, I haven't dealt with. I haven't dealt with a 6 knock.
It's totally new.
It was sandwiched between 2 3 knocks. 3 knocks means danger, warning, get out of this area. That's what a 3 knock means. And you had a danger, warning, get out of this area, 6 knocks, and then danger, warning, get out of this area. And so 6 knocks, to me, the way I perceive it, being sandwiched between 2 warnings, such as it was either an explanation of why we can't be in there, or it's a behavior or strategy that will be used against us if we do not heed the warnings. That's the 2 ways that I took the 6 knock.
Yeah.
Now it could have been as nice as, this is my spot, this my family's here, danger, get out, warning. It could have been as simple as that. But sandwiched between 2 3 knocks, I don't take it in a good way.
Right. 5 Hazel has a theory of the mound, a miscarriage burial.
Well, see, we didn't hear anything from Sasha all weekend.
Yeah.
We heard from Big Sam and we heard from Little Sam. But Sasha did not knock at us. She did not holler at us. She did not come around us. Sasha was up in that area somewhere, laid up, taking care of something. But with the little 6-inch tracks that we found, she probably was preoccupied being mama, and which could explain why we got warned out of the area.
And Ann also says, didn't y'all find 2 separate piles? Tell them about the second pile while I try to find it on the video real quick.
The second pile was actually on Little Sam's trail, and there was a hole about 8 inches around, dug into the hillside. And what the weird part is, it looked like the dirt was dug out and used to shore up that trail. That's the weird part of it. And the trail was beat down back to the dirt.
So here is the other pile that we found. So if y'all can, it's kind of hard to see, but this is the tree right here where the, let's see, let's do this. This is the tree where the X is right down here. And then this is what Patrick calls Little Sam's Trail. It's another beat to the ground. I describe them as like a cattle trail. I mean, it's literally a beat down to the dirt trail, the width of maybe 2 shoes put together, but there's no other footprints on them. There's no deer tracks on them, no hog tracks on them, and this is where we were finding what we believe to be the Sasquatch tracks. So it comes like this, and then bam, here's another one of these weird mud piles. So yeah, there's the second one. Ann was asking if we had found the second one. That's the second. Strange. Wood Booger Forum, sorry, lost connection. Did you see the knocks? No. The knocks were, I mean, here's a good kind of rendition of where the knocks are in conjunction to us. This is where we were. I mean, I used this little waypoint, but this is where we were, and this is 251 yards. This is where about the knocks came from. This right here is a very small little open field with nothing really in it. They got like a little little fence type thing here, and I think there's a feeder right here in the middle. But all of this around here is nothing but woods for acres and acres and acres. And right up in here is that Little Sam trail right up along this creek where that second mud pile is. But we couldn't see the knocks, but you can damn sure hear them. We heard a set of 3, then about 3 minutes later, 6, and about 3 or 4 minutes later, 3 again. I mean, loud. So
yeah, they were ear splitting. They were just about ear splitting.
Yep. Yeah. In fact, we'll go ahead and play it right now, since we're right there, because this is the 6th knock. Wait, where is the 6th knock? That's the 3. Let's get to the 6th knock real quick. Actually, I don't think I can play the damn audio. Let's do this. Stop sharing just for a minute.
I'm gonna answer Wood Booger Farm.
Yeah, sure.
Wood Booger Farm. We were doing single knock. Sasha came in, started off about 3/4 of a mile away. It sounded just like a click. You know, each knock was just kind of a click. And when she come in closer, you could tell it was a knock, getting closer. And when she got to 40 yards, it was almost like your hand was cupped like that on the side of a tree. You could actually hear the bark fall off the tree. It was a cupped sound. So that's the only way I had to describe it, would be a cupped hand hitting the bark of the tree at about 40 yards.
So here's the knock. Y'all be quiet and we'll see if we can hear it. 6 knock. I have but of the area. Did I miss it?
That's your 6th knock right there.
Look, and this is about 250 yards away from us. I'll put I just showed that. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Watch. Here's the first one. This is the first one right here. Of course, you know, you have to be there. Go listen to the video with some earphones. You can hear it. It was powerful. It was a long ways away to pick that up. And here's the... You realize, Patrick? See, we were on a stakeout for 3 hours, just listening and waiting. And I had my camera ready that whole time. And a lot of the time I was filming. Well, to save some power, we were going to walk back over to the Waller. So I turned the camera off. But, of course, my audio is going all day long. Whenever we're out the truck, that audio is recorded. Well, in that 15-minute period between getting up from the stakeout and going to the Waller, those knocks happen. And, of course, when they happen, you're like, hey, did you hear that? Yeah, wait, shh. Oh. And then we wait. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, did you hear that again? Man, that's 6, right? Yeah. And you're talking, and then boom, 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 another 3, and then it's gone. So if I wouldn't have had that audio, we wouldn't have had much. I mean, we would have heard it, but I'm glad I had some redundancy there to back it up.
Well, it's difficult.
Really, the video wouldn't have done anything. It was 250 yards away. I mean, you needed to present that as audio anyway.
Well, it's difficult to keep up with the conversation you didn't start. You know, you didn't solicit these knocks.
Yeah.
They just came in as a warning until you get out of the area.
Yeah.
Now, also, you know, you and I talked a little bit offline. You know, as I said before, they have a larger personal space than we do.
Yeah.
You know, and the question was how they know we were there, because they have a larger personal space than we do. and that's how they avoid you also, you know.
Yeah. And see, I even asked Patrick that. I'm telling him, Patrick's been at this since 2003 and really since 2009 doing open investigations, right?
Yeah.
Me, I mean, I met Kerry last year. I started getting into it. Always been an outdoor guy, but once I found out that there was Sasquatch here in the South, in my home state and in Mississippi, boom, I wanted to do something about it. So I'm green. And it's still psychologically, I believe, but I don't know. And I have questions for Patrick. Him and I will sit there and talk, and I'll tell him things like, how do you know that's them? How do they know we're here? How do they know it's you?
I need a break for a second.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, these things, and then we sit and we talk about it. He'll start talking about a half dozen of instances where he's done Knox segments with Little Sam, and they know his truck. They know that white truck. They know his scent. He's in there a lot. He's in there a lot. Patrick goes there a lot. So, I mean, even for me, it's tough. It's tough to comprehend sometimes that this is going on right underneath people's noses. And even when I heard those knocks, like especially the 6 knock, right? Because the 3 knock, it's like I heard one, and the first one I heard, I went, "Oh, see, you hear that? Shh, shh." Well, by that time, the other 2 were over with. I should have shut my mouth. Rookie mistake. But you're sitting there and you're going, did I just hear what I thought I hear? I mean, is that real? And then when the 6 knock happened, it happened to where when we heard the first one, we looked at one another and then we could hear the 5 afterwards. And each one, our eyes got bigger and bigger. So there was no doubting what we heard because there was 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom, 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 boom. And we're sitting there going, is that, I mean, that's got to be somebody working, right? That's what my first thought was. He's like, no, get on your map. So we get on the map. We start looking. The place is gated. It's not hunting season. The nearest road and home was almost a mile away. You know, you can see the trail snaking through the private acreage going all the way back up to the roads way. There's nothing back there. What made that? So it gives me the goosebumps. Look, I got the goosebumps just thinking about it. It gave me the goosebumps then, and it gives me the goosebumps now. Just thinking about, you know, that's not humans making that.
Well, what you have to understand is I know Sasha's knocks, yells, screams, tracks, and tendencies. I know Little Sam's yells, screams, whistles, whoops, knocks, and tracks.
Yeah.
I know Big Sam's tracks.
So that was the first time you heard his knocks, though.
This was a significant weekend. Now we went out to get on video single knock theory, but it got squashed. It's just for various reasons.
Well, before you keep going, let me say something. The real reason we think single knot theory was not corroborated this year is we sat there and we talked about almost every time that he went out. Every time he would go out, either he was trying to hunt during hunting season or it was during the spring, during the flooding season. Up there it floods and it's still cool. The weather's cool. And when that place floods, these things come to the fringes. What's going on now? even Patrick said, man, I have never seen this water so low before in my life. There were places in there. I mean, if I'd have lit a match in a hardwood bottom, it was like a tinderbox. We really think that they are pushed back into the swamps, deeper in the interior, and are traveling primarily and waking up at night when it's somewhat cooler to hunt. Because we were nuts to do what we did. I mean, that one day after we did your Sasha encounter, dude, I came out of that woods, my back was hurting, and I'm like, man, I feel a little dizzy because I was so damn hot.
Oh yeah.
And you know, something that wears a shaggy coat like that, God, I can't imagine how hot they got to be. Me, I think I would just find a cool creek or a seep or a bog and just sit in that all day and not exert myself. Or
I'd also like to see, as far as how we know they're knocking, I chased single knock theory for years and had knocks and it was a knock phenomenon. I separated the knocking from the subject of Bigfoot and treated it as its own phenomenon. And so that's what I went after. If I can bust this phenomenon of knocking, then that takes a lot away from Bigfoot, because in the beginning I'm trying to debunk it.
Right. Hey, real quick. Awesome question for you, Patrick. Rick from Woodburger Farms. For instance, in my opinion, they are not talking to us. They may be warning each other with their knocks. How could they think we understand what their knocks mean?
Because, well, that's part of what I was getting into. I spent years knocking and years understanding what a single knock meant, from an improved area, and a single knock meant from inside the woods. What 2 knocks means, what 3 knocks means. I spent years just knocking with them, getting their answers and using what they use against me, against them, to understand more. It's kind of like going to, say you go to Tijuana and you see someone walk up and say, agua, por favor. And then you see someone come and bring the man water and he walks off. Okay, you can walk up and say agua, por favor, and the same thing happens. So I use the same theory and knock to learn the knocks.
You memorized what they did by being there to listen to it.
Yeah. So what solidified, and also I'm not a dumb person. Now, what solidified the knock phenomenon and actually tied it to a Bigfoot was when my little boy and the girl I was seeing and myself went fishing. They wanted to go fish. She wanted to go fishing. He wanted to go monster hunting, because he loved that Finding Bigfoot show. So when it gets dark, I let him go to knocking, and he gets a knock phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it comes all the way around, and it's coming up to us, and he's dancing around. I got a knock phenomenon. Ha, ha, ha. He's all excited. He's having a blast. I got a roaring bonfire going. I'm exhausted. I could care less.
Yeah.
It's just a knock phenomenon. We've played with this all kinds of ways. Well, then it changes from a stick to a hand and cups its hand and hits the tree. And that's when the person that's with me stood up, said, I heard that, and gathered everything through the truck. And when I started going to the truck to retrieve a weapon, because you could hear it in the brush, she ran straight in front of this wispy brush. You could see her in the firelight. It was her knocking. I can see her full frontal, 7.5 foot tall Sasha. And she's standing there with her eyes flashing back and forth from fire to me, fire to me, fire to me. And that's when I really solidified knock phenomenon is tied in with this animal.
Right. So real quick, here's another good question for you, Patrick. Squatch ladybug. If you go into the woods and knock and they knock back, why would they give their position away like that?
Well, you got to understand what a knock is. Okay, a knock is I'm here and I'm looking.
A single knock.
Yeah, a single knock is I'm here and I'm looking. A single knock is to who it may be, to whom it may concern. That's basically, you know, if you're just going to the woods and you're knocking to out into the woods, you don't have an individual out there, you know. So you're just doing a single knock saying, I'm here and I'm looking. Now, you may get one back if there's one out there also looking, and see, they don't know that you know how to speak this knock language. And so at 600, 700 yards, whatever out there, you may hear a little click, and it'll come in closer and closer and closer until, you know, and it's saying, I'm here and I'm looking too. But now if you're in their area and you get a loud knock, and that means you're being intrusive to them, and a loud single knock while you're being intrusive to them means I'm here, this area is occupied, your presence is not needed here. Now, once they figure out you're human, you know, they may get more curious, come in and try to figure out why you know how to knock. So
you got another question here by JJ. Do you think they pick at each other like other primates?
As a joke?
Like pick at each other, you know?
Do I think they're playful?
No, do they pick at each other?
Being mean or being funny?
I don't know. That's what the question says. Do you think they pick at each other like other primates? Maybe, you know, not listening, you know, like brother and sister?
Well, we'll answer this. Do I think they groom each other? It's a good possibility. I haven't witnessed it, but I do think they are somewhat a primate. Do I think they have a sense of humor between each other? I'm sure they do. I think as a family, we're pretty close knit, because I saw little Sam's track and the little one pretty much hand in hand down that trail. I mean, you could find his track, and inside his track would be her track. You know, the little one, or its track. I don't know what sex it is. It would have to get bigger, you know. But,
I'm trying to see
like brothers and sisters fighting. Man, I don't know. Anytime you're in a social environment, I'm sure that has a potential to happen.
Let me see. I'm looking to see if they got any more questions.
Well, I only have a rudimentary understanding of knocks. You know, I'm not a knock dictionary. I'm still learning. I can interpret them pretty well, but I'm sure there's knocks out there I haven't heard yet. And in different geographical locations, I'm sure they use different materials, and perhaps different knocks mean different things. So I want to put that out there.
Well, Squatch Lady Pa has another question. Couldn't it be location knocks meant for others of them to know where they are at? If you knock, they think it's one of theirs?
Yeah, that's exactly the premise. The premise of single knock theory, and this is how I got it. Okay, I was watching, my son, you know, loved watching Bigfoot shows. He's watching a show. This guy goes out there and knocks on a tree, and he gets a return knock back, just one. And then he steps all over with all these other knocks and just, you know, got rampant with it, and, you know, got all excited and screwed it all up. Well, so we went out doing single knock, and single knock, if you think of this way, go to a park and sit on a bench by yourself and just sit there and go, hey, hey, hey. About every 60 seconds, go, hey. And you can do this in New Orleans. Go to the New Orleans Park and, you know, down by the river, and sit on a park and a bench and just go, hey. Eventually, an individual is going to walk up and say, hey, back.
Yeah.
And if you don't change your tone, if you just keep staring ahead and saying, hey, the right individual is going to come up and grab you by your shoulder and say, hey, you okay?
Yeah.
You know, what do you need?
Like, or like a bum that's laying there for 2 days. If he hasn't moved, someone's going to come up to him and either pick his pockets or ask him if he's okay. Hey, real quick, I want to get this question out because it's a really good question, and it's something that all of us have not discussed yet. And it's this one that's on the screen by Cryptid Bill. Very good question here. There was some news that came out recently that there are signs that primates are using echolocation. I have seen Bigfoot use this before in the field. It's very unnerving. Your thoughts? Also, Cryptidville, write us a short description about what you saw that led you to believe that they are using echolocation.
I've heard very loud knocks, ear-splitting knocks. I had Sasha knock right next to me in the brush. You know, I've had intelligent knocks. I don't know if it was echolocation. It would creep me out because, you know, like I said, I was never one that wanted to know about this. I didn't have a choice. I kept bumping into this in my skill set and had to find out exactly what I'm dealing with and the safety factor of it. If there was an echo thing involved, and that would just be absolutely, I don't know, that'd be creepy. That would up the creepy.
One of the other theories that are floating around now. Okay, we've all heard about being zapped by the infrasound stuff. I have since abandoned that. Christopher Noel has a channel called Impossible Visits. And I'm not sure what video it is because he's got so many now. But go back and look through his titles. He has a very good, and I need to send you that too, Patrick. He thinks what people, his theory on why humans think when they get sick or they feel bad or they get zapped or they go unconscious or these headaches, humans perceive that to be infrasound. But he has a theory of this being some sort of electromagnetic field that they're able to conjure up, that they're able, whether it's from them themselves or it's something that they do. Now,
I'm going to tell you,
that's about the edge of the paranormal type stuff that I'll ever go into because I don't want to go into that right now. But you can't deny the fact that these people get sick. They're sitting there getting sick, and they feel like vomiting. I mean, what?
Okay, here's my experience with that, and this is why in the video when I was talking about I was looking into Sasha's eyes for the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
When I was walking up that bottom, and just before I made that turn, I felt like I got kicked by something. It was almost like I got hit in the back, and it was almost like I felt heat. I could feel. I compared it to the heat of a stare, is what I called it. I don't know if it was some kind of a
electromagnetic or anything. Yeah.
But I was definitely in a good train of thought, thinking about steak and coconut shrimp, and bam. That bam was me being hit by something in my back and feeling heat on that side of my body. And when I turned around, I actually rotated around. I could feel the direction of that heat was coming from. That's as far as an experience I've had. That's why when I passed in front of her in that brush and I looked, that's why I wanted to see the mechanics of her eyes, because how in the world can anything stare at you and make you feel that way? Because I tried it with my kids. I've sat on the couch and stared at my kid, just trying to make them feel my stare, and they're like, "Stop!" Yeah, I did it to my horse. I sit there and stared at my horse. He never felt a thing. So I don't know I have no idea what happened or what caused that. I think it was just a stare. I don't know if there's anything more to it. I can't say there's anything or not.
Man, that's incredible. It just is. It's just it. There's too many people who've had the same sort of feelings, but we all can't explain it. And of course, we're going to come up with theories. That's perfectly okay. And no real theory is wrong because it's a theory.
Yeah.
So that's
well, I try to base mine on physics.
Yeah.
And the very real experiences that I've had, you know, and a lot of it, if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. I don't know if they put out an EMF. I do know I could feel the stare, you know, and that's probably the last. I felt like I've been looked at before, but I've never felt like she made me feel that day.
Okay, here is the Cryptidville has answered the question about echolocation. He says, one day myself and other researchers were pushed out of an area by a Bigfoot that was making a clicking sound with its mouth. How do you know that? Did you see it make the clicking sound with its mouth? We moved closer until we were out of the woods. We moved and it moved closer until we were out of the woods. Okay, that still really doesn't explain to me. So what you're saying is the clicking was the echo location. I'm just trying to understand. And did you see it make the clicking sound? That's the only issue I have there.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
Barb, boots on the ground, she says, I have felt very flush followed by headache and weakness in the field.
Yep, I just had that. This is Mr. Shane Wink. Shane, I want to give you a shout out. You sent me an email. I have not gotten back to you yet, but I will. I will get back to you. He says dogs are able to smell enzymes and pheromones secreted from cancers within the body unknown to the doctor. They can also detect the onset of seizures before they happen, alerting their owner. And this is something that is definitely true. So could it possibly be that Sasquatch have the ability to do things like canines might be able to do, but in a deeper, a much more deeper, intimate way? Very good observation, Shane Wink. I will answer your email probably tomorrow, buddy. Thank you for your question and your comment.
Good point, Mr. Outdoorsman.
Yeah.
You're right.
What did he say?
Adrenaline released fast in your body will make you sick enough to vomit. And I can attest to that. I really can.
So it's very possible that a certain percentage of people who have been sick could be having a natural occurrence, and it not necessarily be the Sasquatch doing it. That's very possible as well.
Well, adrenaline causes your body to release more saliva, more acid in your stomach.
Right.
You know, it'll up your blood pressure.
Tony Hill said he's been there many a times. It's awful.
There are bear around. I found their tracks and their scat. I've tracked them, but they're pretty rare.
Are there bears will do mouth pops? Are there bears there? Do you have bears up there, Patrick?
There are bears here. I have tracked them. I found their track, their scat. I found where they caught and ate fish. I have tracked them, but they're rare here.
Rare. Gotcha. It's getting a little late, so why don't we move ahead? We had most of the night knock investigations trying to elicit the single knock theory. We just did not have any knocks back at all, except for the very last night in section 2 or our area 2, where the 3 knock, the 6 knock, and the 3 knock happened. That night we're out on the road and did knocks, and Patrick did some howls, and we got a very subtle but apparent knock. Do you want to go into a little bit explaining on your theory what that might be, Patrick?
Okay. Well, we got told to get out of the bottom, and so we left there. We went to another area, did some knocks. We come back there later when it was cooler, and you did a series of single knocks, and we know they're there, and we still didn't get a response. So I whooped to little Sam, trying to get little Sam to whoop back at me. He didn't whoop. He just did one single knock. He said, "I'm here." And I whooped 2 more times, and he didn't say anything. And so we left there, and I was pretty distraught. I really considered it, after the shooting, he hasn't been very friendly to me. He hasn't wanted to come around me. I was really distraught and aggravated that, okay, this person that shot at him ruined my relationship with him just because I was in the general area, and I'm guilty by association because I'm a human.
Yeah.
So we leave that area and we go back to our camp area, and I'd given up. Well, actually, we stopped and did another series of knocks at Area 1, where you got out by yourself and was knocking, and then we got back in and went back to camp, and I'd given up. I'm just, there's no repairing this.
Right.
And we're there about 45 minutes, and then 2 ear-splitting, powerful knocks come in. The first knock that went off. Now, the first knock that went off, I actually thought, "Oh my God, Sam's here with that threat he gave us." That was my first thought.
Right.
There was 2 powerful knocks, and if you paid attention to where his feet were, and I've always said this, where your feet are is very important when you knock. His feet were 60 yards, away from you. His toes were pointed at yours, very respectfully. He wasn't saying to whom it may concern. He was saying to you guys, knock, knock. And he did it in the same volume that he did as the warning.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't have to. He was only 60 yards out.
Right.
He didn't have to use that volume, but he did. He wanted you to know and communicate to you that I'm the one that told you to get out of that bottom. And I'm communicating to you again in a respectful way, 60 yards off your toes, knock, knock, which is, and I told you, I said, "Hey, that's an invitation." And then he left that area, and from where he knocked out the first time to where he knocked out 150 yards out, if you drew a line from where he knocked from the first time to the second time, there's a straight line of direction going back to area 1 and 2. He did another 2 knocks.
Right. Now, this is all happening in camp, guys.
Yeah.
3 miles from where the stuff happened, the knock sessions happened. We're sitting there in camp, and these 2 sequences of 2 knocks happen, followed by a whoop in camp. And we're sitting here going, is that what we think it is? And of course, we didn't have any audio recorders running in the camp. It was the last night. We were in tents in the heat. We're sitting there just trying to unwind. We had no idea to even think about putting up audio recorders in camp for the possibility. Now we will, because I wish we'd have had that audio to put. That would have been the perfect documentation of a storied weekend that we came across. All we can do is tell you what happened. We hope you believe us. It did happen. And because of that, because of those 2 knocks, Patrick knows that 2 knocks are invitations. We feel like, I know this is a stretch, but we sound like we're invited back.
Well, it was the most significant knock. We went out there to do a significant video of single knock, but we captured the most significant knock I've ever heard of a human getting from a Squatch. Okay, the ones that we left in that bottom tracked us down to our camp, and Big Sam did 2 knocks. He says, "I'm the one that told you to get out of this bottom. I'm also telling you that you were invited." And when he left that area and went to the other second place he knocked, he said, "You're invited in this direction." Now, and then we're sitting there looking at each other, and I'm just glad it wasn't a 3 knock, because if it had been a 3 knock, then bad. Then little Sam comes just 40, 50 yards out and goes, "Whoop." And that whoop was saying, "Hi, it's me. I'm here." And he was letting me know that he was in on this.
Right. And
you know,
and
look, so if you think,
look what Mr. Outdoorsman said, Patrick.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were done because they weren't responding.
Us too.
I thought I was rejected. You know, but then when they chased us down and gave us the invitation back, and little Sam gave that whoop, telling me, "Hi, I'm here. It's me." You know, because he and I whoop each other. We know each other's voices. Think about how significant it is for these beings to come to your camp and knock and give you a knock invitation back to their area. Maybe not around that X. I still think they don't want us around the X. But in that general area, we're welcome. That's what they told us. Now here is the significant.
Hey, at least we're welcome at the camp, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the significant question. Here is the significant question. Who in that group stood up for me for Sam to travel all those miles to come give me an invitation, give us invitation back? You know, because I've been dealing with this group for many years. Who in that group stood up for me and had the persuasive power for Sam to say, "Okay," you know, and track us down to our camp and give us 2 knock invitation back there?
I think it's a woman.
Well,
I think Sasha would be the only one to have that power to make Big Sam do something like that.
But see, little Sam was there and he gave that whoop. It's kind of like I told Mama and he got in trouble. You know?
Yeah.
I can and I know this is in no way, you know, probably happened, but I was picturing Big Sam standing there getting his with Sasha going, and then Big Sam going, "Yes, dear."
Yes, dear.
You know?
I'll go do that. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Robert D's got a good response. Maybe they were asking you guys if they could come in.
I have something to say. Y'all two wasn't the only ones that heard the knocks and the whoop. Who else was on the phone with you?
Yeah, Christy Sci-Fi was on the phone and heard it all.
Yes, I did.
What did you hear? Tell us.
I heard the 2 knocks, then the 2 knocks again, then I heard the whoop.
We called her to tell her what was going on, right? We kept in touch. So, you know, we had a few brews and we were feeling good. We were exhausted. We were ready to go to bed. We're on the phone with and this is the other significant part that we're leaving out. Okay. When we got back to camp that night, we were dying to know, because Patrick had heard that subtle knock at Area 2 at night. So we took the SD card out of my audio recorder, plugged it in his laptop, boosted the speakers as high as it would go, and both of us have our ears down to the speakers trying to listen for these knocks. And we kept rewinding it and listened to the knocks. And rewinding and listening. And it was being broadcast at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, all through the campground. And then eventually we found them, and we kept playing them. Knock, 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 knock. So, and then once we found them, I think I roared. I was like, "Yes, we got the knocks on there." And he's like, "Shh, quiet, you know." But did that have any significance? Did they hear that? But Sci-Fi was there. We called her. We're like, "Yeah, we got knocks. You know, we're doing this, we're doing that." And while we're on the phone, I had her on speakerphone.
That's right.
Right out in front of me. 2 knocks come. and then maybe 3 minutes later, like it was starting to walk around in the wood, 2 more knocks, and then a whoop, and we're like,
and I asked you, I said, what was that?
And Sci-Fi goes, what was that? And I was like, did you hear that?
I'm like, yeah.
That's a damn whoop. Oh,
Well,
man.
that
It also came from a side of the woods. Did we check that wind that night? I wonder if the wind was coming from that way, but it was totally away from where, the main part of the campground was, where houses and buildings and roads were. I mean, it totally came up on the outskirts of that campground. We looked on the map, and it was nothing but contiguous woods in that area where they could have slipped up easily.
Well, I walked back there.
Yeah, the morning after.
Yeah, the morning after, I went back there tracking, and there's a ridge line that he was on, and there was hogs. You know, and how the hogs tore up area 2.
Yeah,
there was that area was tore up with hogs too, except for the ridge line. And it'd been a long time since they tore it up because the ground was kind of crunchy.
Yeah,
I could see impressions. I can see impressions, but it's not anything I'll take a picture of and say 100% this is what it is.
It's just dry.
But I saw impressions, and we did get knocks from there. I even took a picture from there, and you could see clearly our table.
Yeah, you sent me a picture. He's got a picture of where he felt like they were standing when they made those 2 knocks. And if you look through all of the brush and look and zoom into that picture, there is the table at the campground where we had the laptop and the chairs right in front of it. It's like one of these deals you see the eye. I mean, that's what he captured. I'm like, he comes back and he says, oh, they had a perfect line of sight straight to the table. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, check out this picture. This is exactly what they were looking at. And I'm like, dude, that's us right there. I mean, and we had the lights. We only had one or 2 lights there, so they definitely could see us.
Yeah, I mean, and I can track.
I know you.
I found the spot. But
yeah,
that made me feel so much better because I've been studying this group for years.
Yeah,
quietly. I kept,
and I'm so glad that you don't have to worry about that. Like him being shot, you kind of feel like that's been maybe patched up, maybe.
Yeah, I believe he came and gave me a whoop at my camp. I believe it's patched up, but also, if I get back there and he gets concerned about anything, he's still small. Big Sam can come and throttle me if I get Little Sam worked up. Little Sam getting worked up. He's probably my size. Big Sam and Sasha, if they get concerned about their child being upset, what would you do to me? So that's why I was nervous up the hill when we were knocking back into the area we were told to get out of.
Yeah,
that's why I was nervous because we already had a warn warning.
Right.
And when that first knock came in on the 2 knock, sitting at the table, I jumped because it was ear splitting loud. But I jumped thinking, if there's 3 knocks here, we're just gonna leave everything and run.
Jen, come see real quick. Ask Christy. Wait.
Wait, what?
You want to come on here? My daughter was asking something.
What? No, I wasn't.
Just come see.
What?
Come.
I was not asking.
Okay.
I was not asking.
My daughter didn't ask anything. I'm sorry, fans.
Too cute.
This is my daughter. This is Jenna. She's on YouTube.
Hey.
Look, there's 68 people, and this is all the people in here. Watch, they might say something to you like, "Hi, Jenna," but this is Jenna. This is one half of my life. The other half is probably in bed, which you need to get to bed. But the bigger question is, do you believe in Bigfoot, or you don't really know?
I don't know.
What do you think about Dad and these people, his friends, what do you think about us going to look for him? Do you think that's crazy, or do you think it's like okay to do, or?
It's okay.
It's okay. It's not bad
For y'all, but I
Hey,
You wouldn't do it? You don't want to go with that at dark and look for him?
Oh my god, dark. I want to get bit up.
She doesn't want to get bit up by bugs. She's
hey, do you believe in Dadfoot?
huh?
Do you believe in Dadfoot?
Dadfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he
Look.
said?
Bigfoot Michigan Rob, look what he said. He's one of our friends in Michigan. Hi, Jenna. He's in somewhere telling you. Here's Miss Ann Burr. She always comes in and listens to Dad's show. How sweet. Hey, Jenna. Bama Bigfoot says, hi, pretty Jenna. JJ. Okay. All right. Thanks, baby.
You're welcome.
Go get ready for bed.
Can I have some?
Someone had a question on here. Someone had a question on here. It says, "Hey Patrick, do you think you could have a face-to-face with Big Sam without freaking out?"
It's Cryptidville.
I'm going to tell you, I spent my years doing historic research before I ever got into the field doing field research. And a lot of the names that were given to them and a lot of the stories that were told about them weren't very good. A lot of them are dark. So I'm very cautious, and I don't think I could ever be around one without having some kind of nervous energy. If I had a face-to-face with Big Sam, I wouldn't outwardly freak out. Inwardly, I would be a squirrel in traffic. And that's probably as good as the answer as I can give. Little Sam doesn't bother me near as much because I actually have more of a relationship with Little Sam than I do with Sasha, and I got a pretty good relationship with Sasha. You know, Little Sam he's been just yards off of me watching me fish. And even though I still get a nervous energy about me and I still get a little creeped out, and the question in my mind, it always comes up on me when they're around is, I hope they've eaten. You know, that's just the question. God, I hope they're not hungry. You know,
can be on the show with her?
But yeah, I think there'll always be nervous energy. You just can't show it outwardly because I think they respect bravery. My own personal opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Real quick, because one of them was on the video. The other one has to be on. So this is the other half. Yeah, this is Gavin Owens. What do you believe in Bigfoot, the Sasquatch? Do you? Yes or no? Just be honest. Just be
I'm
honest.
gonna be honest. I say yes. I gotta be honest.
Okay. What do you think about Dad and his friends going out to try to look for them?
Interesting.
Yeah. Would you go?
I'd have to think about it.
What is it about it that might not? That's kind of I don't want to go. What makes you say no? I don't want to go.
I don't know. It could be a wild goose chase.
Very.
Hey, my little boy was 6 the first time he went.
But his little boy has witnessed it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my little boy called one into the firelight. We saw her in the firelight. You know, and he says, let's get in the truck. Because I told him you called her in. You want to dance with her or what? And he says, let's get in the truck and watch. So we get in the truck. We're not there less than a minute. I have the key ignition. And he starts screaming at the top of his lungs in this truck. He's in the back seat behind me. Go, go, go. Just get out of here. Don't even look. So I crank it up. And part of me wanted to just turn around and look. But in every horror show, anybody that turns around and tries to look.
Don't look. That's when you die.
So I just, it's an automatic. I just drop it in gear and stomp the gas. He says, just go. I'll explain later. We hit the blacktop and we start going. He says, she slipped behind the tree around the fire. She come from one tree into this next tree and then was coming up behind the truck. He said she was at the tailgate when you cranked up and was almost to your door when you put it in gear.
So he was looking at it out of the back window of the truck, but he was kneeling, looking out the back while his dad was driving to get out there, and it was right at the back of the tail. It's 10 o'clock. It's time for bed. Y'all have school.
Hey, Tony's got a question for
My
him.
guy's got a question. Love y'all. I'll be in to give y'all a kiss in just a minute. Okay?
There's a question about Carrie's encounter.
Kids.
There's a question about Carrie's encounter.
Where's that at?
Tony has a question.
Patrick, have you ever caught him on cam or video?
The one time I was set up to catch him on my camera phone, he got shot at. That was the only time. Now I've got plenty of pictures of tracks and, circumstantial evidence, but the time I set up to get a video, bam, 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 here comes these gunshots, and he takes off, and Sasha yells for him. He yells back. Sasha takes off to him, and I get the hell out of the area.
Yeah. So the one time that you were starting to get to that point where, hey, I'm going to try to do this, you bring the camera out there, your cell phone, you're getting ready, and that was the morning that he was coming down his trail, and some jackass shot him.
Well, he made a mistake, a rookie mistake. He allowed himself to become timed, and timed is how I grew up hunting. I grew up hunting. We'd find these areas, we'd knock the tracks out of them, and we'd check them periodically and time our animals that came in.
Right.
And that's how we successfully hunted.
Yeah.
Well, he allowed himself to be
bushwhack. You just bushwhack.
Yeah. He allowed himself to be timed, and I had the time, the place, and the area he was going to be in, and I got set up on him, and I thought, all right, I'm going to get a video of him. And I was set up way uphill, crunched up against some ferns, and I hear him come yelling down this creek bottom. He always gets quiet when he jumps that little road, and then bam, 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 he gets shot. And then I hear Sasha. Sasha sounds like a train horn out there yelling, and then he yells back, and then I can only assume she went to him.
Yeah.
But I got out of the area,
and of course he didn't get it on video. Let's back up a little bit. Boots on the ground wants to know, you were telling Gavin about Sasha getting nearly really at the truck. I guess she's asking, what do you think she would have done, because she was coming towards that truck?
Well, we called her in. She wanted to know why we called her in.
Right, but
That's why
going up to the truck, though. What the hell? If y'all would have remained there,
because
what would have happened?
We were there. She wanted to know what we were doing and why we were calling her in. What she'd have done there, she might have just walked up and said, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hey, look,
because
right, it's getting kind of late, and we got to take that poll real quick. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's all right.
So here's the poll, or the decision that we're talking about, that we're mulling over. I can tell you, Patrick, it's not that he doesn't care. Patrick wants to do both. I want to do both too, but we can't do both. So here's the question. If you guys have seen the North LA Mission 1 that's out on Bigfoot Explorer, if you haven't, go watch that. But if you enjoyed that, and you're enjoying this story that's unfolding that we're telling you about, we didn't corroborate the single knock theory, but we did get unusual knocks. We did get activity on the last night in the damn campground that we feel is significant to Patrick's story and his studies and his I know it sounds weird, but his relationship with them. Okay. Do we go at the end of the month? We are supposed to go to the Big Red Mission in Southwest Mississippi. That's where we take 4 days, and we're going to go to some new spots in Southwest Mississippi, as well as the area that we call the Wade Capital area. That is Christy and our spot that we go, that we had 2 knocks and a footprint. Do we go? The poll is, do we go to Mississippi, to the Southwest Mississippi Mission, or do we go back to Patrick's in North Louisiana and possibly continue what has started? So Mississippi or Louisiana? That's the poll. Just start plugging them into the chat so we can see what everybody thinks. Do we go to Patrick's place in Louisiana at the end of the month, or do we go to Southwest Mississippi and start anew? They're starting to come in. Boots on the ground says North Louisiana. Cryptidville says Louisiana. JJ says Patrick's, which means Louisiana. Karen in Texas says Louisiana. Boots on the ground says take Christy. She's going. Jamie also says Louisiana. Jamie, are you a researcher? Yes or no? Robert D's got a good take. A new site could bring up new questions. That's very true. Eventually, we're going to get to South Mississippi, or we're going to get back to North Louisiana. But we're kind of excited. We have had this end of September trip planned for quite a long time. I took 2 days off work. Christy took 2 days off work. Bo McGee might be going with us. Keep trying to get in touch with him. He was in here tonight. He must have left.
He left. He wasn't feeling good.
Wasn't feeling good. Okay.
Yeah, he said he's going to contact you tomorrow sometime.
Michael Shane says North Louisiana. Michael Moore says Louisiana. Louisiana Prepper says Louisiana. I think the stage is set, Christy. Chris Sliger or Sliger, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. He says Louisiana as well.
Woodbooger says use duct tape on Christy if needed to.
Duct tape and ribs.
I'm gonna bring some bacon and put it on you, Scott.
Yeah, we can do that too. Loretta Big says
I'm gonna put some pig lips on Patrick.
Ann says Mississippi. I really value Ann's stuff as well.
JJ said Mississippi.
Mississippi's full of briars. I know that.
The briar patch.
Woodbooger Farm says bacon britches. Bacon in the britches. Well,
for me, you could uncover something in Mississippi, or we know what's in North Louisiana.
Yeah.
It just depends on, I would love to have a face-to-face with little Sam. And I don't, it doesn't have to be done this month. I know I can do that during deer season.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It just depends on.
Document it, though. We need to be together to do it,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've had him just on one hilltop over going, whoop, But the thing is, this is the first time I've had an invitation to them.
Right.
All the other times I encountered them, I was either role playing or I was at a certain area, not pulling them in on knocks. I've never had an invitation before, so that's an exciting thing. So I'll feel a little more comfortable.
Right. And Ann saying, it would be nice to get Patrick's take on the Mississippi area. Damn good insight there. And Gordon, Happy Two Bears, Mississippi, test those theories in a different area. That's exactly what we're wanting to do. We literally, up until this trip to North Louisiana, Patrick and I have been on the phone, texting, so many different things, prepping for South Mississippi. And I mean, we've got plans. He's got experiments for each night, what we're going to do, what we're going to bring. I know where to go for every spot, how to get us there at night. I know our outs, our ins. So we've done the legwork. The question is time. Nobody has time anymore. We got work. I got kids. I know I can't be gone every weekend. Patrick can't do this every weekend. He's got a life. I know. So it's like, when can we get all this together? And then once we do, where is that time best served? Is it best served in a place where we know that they're at, where we have very good chance on some sort of activity happening again? I'm not going to be wishful thinking about saying that we're going to see one. I'm just saying, but we also got to factor in the fact that it's summer and these knocks have gotten a little, they're different from the patterned knocks they're used to getting during hunting season and in the spring. So do we take that time and say, well, look, we know the invitation's there. We know that they're there. We know they're still there. Do we take that time and go to someplace new and just try that out, or be excited and continue what we just dealt with? And believe it or not, I'm having trouble. I'm having real trouble deciding on how to spend my 4 days, because I want to spend it. I mean, I'm going to have fun no matter what, but I love you, baby. I can't help but wonder what we might get after this invitation that we got. I would love to see Patrick's take on Mississippi, because that's 2.5, 3 hours away as opposed to 6. It's someplace that Sci-Fi and I go to. It's someplace where Bo McGee, where all three of us could go just on a whim on a Saturday or Sunday. That could be our spot. We could start getting further on and figuring more things out in Mississippi. So they both have pros and cons to them, and we just can't make a decision, or at least I can't. Yeah, boots on the ground. Well, Scott wants to go to Mississippi. JJ says you have to take advantage of what you already have. Time lost in Mississippi.
I wasn't lost in Mississippi.
I don't know exactly what he means by that.
He means a bird in hand's better than two in the bush.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's prudent to go back to Louisiana.
Yeah, we can, but Mississippi's a good spot.
Yeah.
Big time.
Cryptidville in a previous life. Kentucky, please don't call me that, though. I don't know why I put that up. Well, most people said Louisiana. We'll have to mull over it a little bit more. Thank y'all for hanging in there for as long as y'all did, waiting on the poll. I'm sorry. We definitely went over tonight. We went 2 hours. I cannot believe we went 2 hours. Does anybody else have any questions you'd like to ask before we end here tonight? If you do, go ahead and send them now. Yeah, Fletch Explorer's got the right deal. Just flip a coin, go with Bingo Bigfoot. It's so true. Barry Browning says, Mississippi, we run towards fights and gunfire, but run away from Jehovah's Witness. Exactly. Ask the Creator, 5 Hazel says. You're right about that. Also, guys, just remember before you go to bed tonight, just say a little something from my Aunt Pauline. She's my second mom. we pretty much grew up with her. My dad worked offshore, 28, 28, 14 and 14 off. Many Christmases, birthdays spent there. They do for us. My aunt and uncle do for us like my parents do. And I'm 46. They still do for my kids like they did for us. It's kind of, as you get older, you start realizing these things. And the one thing that I see, other than the obvious, that she may not be here, but is that it's damaging when it's a part of your clan that goes out. Because there's so many people in this world who are really horrible and don't give a rat's, you know what, about you. Life doesn't care about you. It just keeps going. And for that to happen to one of your clan, a big part of that clan that keeps that fabric and that wheel going, it hurts. And it hurts to see my mom that way too. And so now that I've got everybody in a down mood, thank you guys.
Hey, Quentin.
Patrick, do you have anything else to say before we head out?
Quentin, cell service is real spotty in a lot of places I go. I'm not sure if hotspot off a cell phone would work in a lot of the areas.
Where?
It says, would you be open to use Wi-Fi cameras off a hotspot of a prepaid cell phone? I mean, it's sketchy whether you're going to have a signal or not.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this: it is way better than it is in Mississippi. Though there is dead zone. Any place we go in Mississippi, dead zone. Any one of our points that I sent you, dead zone city, buddy. At least in your spots, once you get to the, some of the rock roads here and there, it comes in and it goes out. It weaves in and weaves out. Yeah, that's a hit. That's a hit or miss. I definitely wouldn't bank on anything like that, though.
Hazel 5 or 5 Hazel. I've seen that question. I've been thinking about it. I don't know. I felt like I got kicked in the back, but I don't know if it was a stare that made my nerves jump or if I was actually hit with something. But I know it was almost a bam, and I stood straight. I wasn't slouching anymore, and I felt the stare. That's as far as I can go with it. And as far as traveling fast, I've seen them run. I watched Sasha run. Her legs don't work like mine or yours, and they're very choppy when they're running. Now they can walk smoothly and take long strides as they're walking through the woods smoothly, but when they actually take off running, it's real choppy. Their feet go just are a blur, and then they're gone.
Yeah, it's like Fred Flintstone running. It's like their body stays still and the feet just.
Yeah, they take off.
It's kind of how you ride it. Yeah.
What the creepy part is, I was watching her fingers. Her fingers were real long as she was being whipped by all that green stuff when she was running. She's running through the green stuff, and I'm watching her fingers just kind of trying to knock it out of the way, and her hands were a blur. That creeped me out.
All right, Christy, you want to give the final thing here tonight?
Yes, I do. Always be nice, be kind, and love people. Never judge people on the outside. Judge people on the inside.
All right, with that said, guys, good night. Thank you for coming in and listening to all three of us on our North Louisiana Mission 1 wrap-up and discussion. If you guys have any more questions that you'd like me to put forward to Patrick, you can head on over to BigfootExplorer.com and email me. My email is there, and I would be glad. A lot of people have written in the comments saying, hey, ask Patrick this, and then I do, and then I post his comment back. So even beyond the shows, if you think of something after the show's over with feel free to email me, and Patrick and I can discuss, and we'll see if we can answer some of your questions. So hopefully we definitely will have, I think next Wednesday, I am talking to Mr. Carl. I don't know if he wants me to give his full name yet, but he's in Alabama. And we are prepping a show with Mr. Carl and some of the strange things that are happening with him in South Alabama. Probably, let me look real quick at the calendar, real quick. So that next Wednesday will be, what's the date of that next Wednesday, guys? Let's see.
You got it?
The 18th. So the 18th may be the Carl show, and then the 25th, that Wednesday, would be a good time for y'all to check on that Wednesday night when we do our live. We'll have the answer on where we're going to go for the second mission, and then we will literally be leaving on the 26th. We'll be on mission 2, either in Louisiana or Mississippi, from the 26th to the 29th. Okay, and that's going to include Patrick, Christy Sci-Fi, myself, and the possibility of Mr. Bo McGee. He's still in question there. But hey, join us for the next 2 Wednesdays. If something pertinent pops in before then, I'll let you guys know with a little live feed or something like that. So for myself, for Patrick Vaughn, Christy Sci-Fi, and Bo McGee, wherever he's at, we thank
Yes, JJ.
Huh?
I said yes to JJ.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And until next time, you guys have a great rest of your week and take care.